Let's bring him up right now. He's a seasoned basketball bettor. You've seen him on Circle Back, and right now, I think he's on the Hammer hot seat as most likely employee to get fired. Kirk, how's it going? How do you feel? Is it a little hot right there? Or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm worried. The beak's really coming after me, so hopefully I can keep my job at the Hammer. This might be my last time on Hammer Daily.
This might be our last show, and we're gonna have to replace you with Jacob in that chair over there instead. Like, we need you to step up here, okay? Okay. How did your WNBA? Oh my God, go last night. Good day for you.
I actually won both sides. Thankfully, I literally had lost maybe 40 straight WNBA sides, so it feels nice to win a couple.
All right, are you excited about both those series going to 3 games? Is that something that's interesting to you, or not really?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was more interested in winning my bets, so that's really what mattered. But I also have some Seattle series, so
okay.
I definitely, it was just a good night.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
All right, we live to see another day. We'll talk WNBA on the last half of this little segment with you here. Let's start off with the NBA. You have a couple futures that you like and you want to discuss. I'm going to put you on the spot for a couple other things, but let's start with what you like and what you sent to me. Cavs to win, basically, is what you're telling me. And I text you. I said, no, not again. So give me the breakdown on why you like the Cavs so much. Right now, to win the East, they're plus 220. To win the NBA, to win the finals, plus 650, it looks like. Give me a breakdown on why you're so high on the Cavs first market right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Cavs probably will be my biggest future bet I've ever made on any single team. So I feel really good about it.
That went really well for the last Hammer creator to do that, by the way.
Well, also, to be fair, I was also very big on the Cavs last year. So I was with Flup there. I just was maybe a little less public about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the market is pretty drunk on what the Cavs are. The team is coming back with everyone from last year other than Ty Jerome. They replaced him with Lonzo Ball, who's maybe slightly worse player, but still a really solid player. They're a little injured to come into the year, but they should be totally fine by the time things get serious. But I just think the market is totally reacting wrong to what happened last year in the playoffs. The Cavs last year were second best team in the league for most of the year, market rated, maybe a little worse than Boston in the playoffs. And then they lost to Indiana in the playoffs. It seems like the market kind of has thought that meant that they were, again, a playoff choke and a team that can't do this. But I just don't see it that way at all. I think that they were injured and then actually playing a team that was much better than was thought at the time. Indiana then went on to beat the Knicks and was very, very close to winning the NBA title. I don't look at that series loss as really any indication that the Cavs are worse than we thought. They ran into injuries at a really rough time. Garland was essentially a zero in the series. Mobley missed some time. Indiana had one of the craziest comebacks in Game 2 that in NBA history, where they were down 9 with maybe a minute left in the game. The Cavs continue to be massive favorites every game in that series, even with their injuries. And now they come into the year with their biggest conference rival, conference challenge in Boston being essentially totally out of it. If the Cavs played the Knicks at home in the conference finals, they would have been around minus 400 in that series. And now they're pretty close to rated even in the market as the Knicks. I don't think those teams are particularly close at all. And then beyond them, there's not really a good challenger. Who are you worried about in the East? Orlando or Atlanta? These teams just aren't very good. The East is so much weaker than it was last year, and the Cavs are just the clear absolute favorite. They should have a pretty easy road to the finals, and then could be favorites over anyone other than OKC. So yeah, Cavs title and Cavs East. I'm betting those at especially East at nearly any number, really.
All right, any number. Wow. All right, I love the confidence in there for you. And like you mentioned, like they're far and away the best team. Celtics obviously way down the board now with the Tatum injury. That's how much basketball I know. But how do you feel about betting these? Like, I mean, it's still like plus money, plus 220. But how do you feel like betting these futures that won't close out until like almost 8 months from now? Or is this just like such a sizable edge for you that you feel so confident that you're willing to lay that kind of like such a large amount this early on in the off season, or I guess this early on in the season? Like, it's not going to close for another 8 months. Is that a concern to you at all? How do you normally approach futures like this?
So a few things. I do agree with you that typically I don't love doing that, but I'm hesitant to answer this way, but this is the truth. Like, it's not like I really ever have all my bankroll in play. Like, I always am kind of looking to put money into any edge possible, even if, like, I had a lot of money on Donald Trump to be, like, after he won the election at like 90% chance, it's like, I'm happy to put my money into like essentially these long-term markets because a lot of the time my money's kind of just not doing anything.
Okay.
So if you're tight on bankroll, I do think it's a generally a good thought to not put your money on a plus 220 and wait for very long. But I do think that this is a very sizable edge. But if you have that worry, I would just try finding other legs that you like and parlaying them. I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, cool. Appreciate that insight there. Always good to hear that stuff. Last year you gave out a pretty crazy NBA winner. Didn't hit. This is a crazy long number. It was Pistons 300-1. Am I right on that? I think that was.
No, it was Pistons 600-1.
600-1 Okay. Obviously didn't win. But do you have anything crazy like that for us here today, or you don't really see that anywhere?
There's nothing I've bet, and I've also, like, yesterday was actually the first day we ran our future sim, so I'm still kind of just getting up and running for the NBA season. Okay. But, like, if you're absolutely desperate for a long shot, maybe Grizzlies I don't know what they're at Fanduel. I saw they were like 200-1 in the market.
125-1 at Fanduel.
Like, I wouldn't bet that. I honestly wouldn't bet 200-1, but if there was a team I was looking at where, you know, I think they could be a lot better than the market thinks and maybe add in season, I think they're a pretty good team. I think the market's maybe a little overreacting to the Bane loss. They were really good last year. They got really unlucky. Maybe the new coach unlocked some things. Ja also was a bit worse last year than he's been. I think he could kind of return to form, but like, if you look at the teams Memphis is in there with, like, Memphis is far superior to me than Indiana, Miami, Toronto. They're obviously in a much worse, a much like more difficult conference, but they are much more likely to win the title than, you know, the teams they're surrounded by. But again, I wouldn't bet that. It's really hard, you know, to win the NBA title. I'd probably just try betting maybe their win total or something. But I if you're really asking me for a long shot, that's probably what I would take. Also, if you're looking for a long shot, I don't have anything right now, but I think NBA Cup is a lot more realistic to hit a long shot with that tournament format. Like, it gets hard, you know? You don't really win the title if you're, like, you know, the 12th best team in the league. Detroit was 600-1. I still kind of think that was a pretty good bet, especially with the run Indiana went on. Detroit and Indiana were market rated pretty similar a lot of the year. So I do think it was a reasonable shot, but I think for an NBA title team to win at that long odds, like, you have to have a pretty unique spot.
Yep.
But yeah, that's probably the team I'd be looking at. But again, I'm really not recommending that you bet it.
All good. I'm just asking for some homework for you for next week. Then when you come on the show, maybe you'll have something for us. Let's flip over and talk WNBA here. Right before you jumped on, the Liberty seems like they wicked up a little bit. I think they were around like minus 180-ish or 140 even earlier today, and they've jumped all the way up to minus 200 here on FanDuel. 4.5 points favorites for the Liberty. Break down the game for us here, who you like, and if you have any props for us or any sides you're leaning towards, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just getting out my FanDuel to see what a couple lines are at, but yeah. So the lines moved so much because it seemed like Brianna Stewart was super likely to miss, and now it seems like she's going to go.
Okay.
I think 4.5 is actually pretty fair for what we have in the market right now. Like, with the knowledge of Stewie probably playing, we don't know how limited she's going to be. She said she had an MCL sprain. I'm a bit surprised that she's playing here with an MCL sprain. I know it's a 3-game series, so you lose this game, you're going to Phoenix with your life on the line. So it makes sense, but I could see her absolutely being hobbled. I could even see her not playing here, despite her saying she intends to at a shoot around. So I don't have anything for the side. If I were to bet anything here, I do like Emma Miesemann unders. I think Stewie's more likely to play than not. And even if she doesn't, at practice yesterday, I believe it was Kennedy Burke who practiced with the starters and not Emma Miesemann. So I think that even with that downside, her lines are kind of fair with Stewie out. Maybe they would tick up, but I probably would bet the unders because I think the market thinks she's going to start, and I don't think she's going to start even if Stewie doesn't play. But it looks like Stewie's going to play. If they're playing her, I imagine she's going to get a lot of run. I think Miesemann's probably going to play 18 minutes, and her lines are set definitely for higher than that.
Okay, maybe if maybe you take some correlation there, take some Miesemann's unders and Stewie overs across the board.
No, I would not. Okay, I wouldn't recommend. Well, I don't think Stewie actually even. Oh, she does have lines up. Yeah. I don't hate that, but I imagine they'll probably price that correlation. But I think you have a lot of outs. I would honestly rather just parlay Miesemann unders with each other than with Stewie overs. I haven't looked at the Stewie overs. I'm seeing they've now posted her at 15.5 points, minus 118 to the over. Look, that's obviously pricing in some injury.
Yep.
I would need to think a little more about that before I recommend a play there. But yeah, it's an interesting game. I would recommend watching it. It's one of those spots where, even watching warm-ups, seeing how Stewie's moving. I remember Anthony Davis against Phoenix, I believe 2020. He was injured. It seemed like he was going to be out. Then he was announced to be playing, but in warm-ups, he barely could move. So if you could have gotten those unders after you've seen that, they were massively plus EV. Even taking Phoenix in that game and Phoenix in this game, if you see her in warm-ups or really early in the game really struggling, I am a bit skeptical that they would play her if she was completely laboring out there. So we'll see. But yeah, it's a very interesting betting spot here and one of those games you really want to be locked into.
All right, lock in and watch that game. Game starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Let's flip over to the late game here. Minnesota Lynx at Golden State. Valkyries, Lynx on the road, massive favorites, minus 650 on the money line, 10-point spread here, minus 114 towards the Lynx. Any interesting sides in this game? Give me your opinion on this game and if the Lynx can close out this series here.
I don't have a side here. If you forced me to bet it, I probably would bet the Valkyrie.
Okay.
They got absolutely stomped in game one. They might just not have the juice, like all year they've been way overperforming versus their team talent. And also, this game actually isn't in the Valkyrie home stadium. I think Dua Lipa is playing a concert there. So they're playing like what I've heard is like 90 minutes with traffic. Outside of like their normal stadium. That being said, they have an insane fan base, so I imagine the home court will still be there. But I actually haven't bet anything on this game. I think it's relatively fair. I'm a little scared to bet the Valkyrie with just how bad they got beat and how much of a talent disadvantage they have. But the WNBA sides have just not really been pricing zigzag as much as you think, and this is the first year of like the 1-1-1, where it used to be that in a 3-game series, Minnesota, in this example, the home team would play 2 home games, and then it would go to the road game. But now it's home, road, home. And that zigzag just hasn't been priced in as much as it would be, for example, in the NBA. So I did bet Seattle and Indy yesterday because of that.
Okay.
But that being said, the Valkyries lost by 30 and it wasn't competitive at all. So I think they're just really outmatched. But yeah, if I had to take a side, it would be the Valkyrie, and I don't really have much props. On FanDuel, Collier most points scored at -140 seems decent to me, but I haven't bet it. It's not like anything crazy.
Okay, cool. I'm going to play a quick game with you. I'm going to say a number, and you're going to tell me if you're going to click or not on the Valkyries. Plus 550, click or no click?
Plus 550. What's the market at?
440 right now. I don't want to.
Yes.
Yeah, click. Okay, there we go. So if
I would click plus 550.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought so. I'm just wondering where you're kind of how far out you need to go to click there. A couple questions in the chat before I let you go. Someone's asking, I believe it was Holt in the chat, how does Stewie injury affect their title probability? Did you see any movement on their championship odds? I assume there was some. How do you feel like it's going to affect it if this is an injury that's going to be lingering for her throughout the playoffs?
Yeah, so I think the angle absolutely would be to bet on the Liberty title right now. Like, okay. The market shifted a ton after the injury, and like there was a chance that I said after the game that I thought the most likely scenario was that Stewie doesn't play for the rest of the playoffs, and now she's going to play tonight. Yeah. So, or seemingly going to play tonight. So again, I would maybe wait and see it, like when she's ruled in, and if she seems to be moving well, it could be a nice opportunity to take them at a plus 350. I think it has steamed back slightly from what I saw, but I think at this point I would say that the Liberty are the second most likely team to win the title, and they're priced tied to Vegas. Vegas lost last night. Vegas lose one more game. It could be out, but it's definitely a harder road for the Liberty than it is for Vegas. But the Liberty have a reasonable chance to be the best team in the WNBA. Like they were thought to be the best team for a lot of the year. They really struggled late. They looked awesome last game. So yeah, I think if Stewie's healthy, it could be worth a shot to take Liberty title.
All right, game is on 10 p.m. Eastern time. Keep that FanDuel account open. Click that plus 350, and if you feel like she's going to be in, we're going to be clicking away. It's going to be a race to the button there. Kirk, appreciate you coming on. Don't let the beat get to you. I wouldn't have you fired. Listen, I'm putting in a good word for you. Even though you shot on the Packers, you shot on my Bears, and you love the Minnesota Vikings, I'm okay with that. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. It's part of the Hammer Betting Network. Hey, I'm here, right? If it wasn't okay to be wrong, I don't think I would be here. So anyways, Kirk, I appreciate you. Talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Talk to you.
All right. See you, Kirk.